Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody now. I have not started the intro, but wanted to make sure everybody hits the like button. What are you guys doing? How you doing? What are you drinking on? Let me know in the chat. And let's get started right now. Hitting the intro so I can share this. Let's go. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere, but you're here. Shout out to everybody. There is just some interesting stuff happening on the internet, I guess. I'm tired. I was editing last night. Hope to drop a video tonight. Actually, I'm working on like a little 2-part series, and you guys will find out what that is about, right? Pretty soon. Welcome, everybody. Oh my God, I see some regular schmegulars that I haven't seen in a minute. Cash is in the building. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Hey, everybody. I said, I seen the rabbit signal go up and had to come, says Lady Victoria. Shout out to you. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Belen. Everybody come through. My wonderful mod, Pika. Dee Dee's in the house. Apple Pie. Storm AF. Thank you. Shauna B's here. Maggie's here. Thank you. Sexy Nessa. Welcome. Yanni is in the house of Mercy, Miami. Thank you. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys for supporting. Minds Y'all is here. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you guys for being here. We about to get started. Hey, Belen, Abby, I see. I'm trying to see if I see any of the regular schmegulars from before. You know. Abby, how are you? I said hello. Phoenix Book Girl. Tina, thank you for being here. Let's see who else. Samantha, shout out to you. Olson, how are you, my love? Here for the show. Shout out to you, Shauna B. Thank you. Okay, I can't go up anymore because there's too many comments. But welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. And shout out to everybody in the chat. All right, so let's talk about a controversial story. And first of all, it took me a minute to get it, but now I get it because it's like a play on word situation. Haley, how are you? All right, let me show y'all what I'm talking about. I don't know who this is. I'm assuming she's like a model, clearly, because she's modeling jeans. But her name is Sydney Sweeney, an American Eagle ad campaign, and why it sparked backlash. So the subliminal message here is truly about eugenics, right? So this time it isn't Sydney Sweeney's bathwater causing controversy. It's her genes. The 27-year-old Euphoria star. I don't watch Euphoria. I know some of my family members do. They're kind of on the younger side, but this is like the show. So apparently she was featured in the new American Eagle Fall 2025 denim campaign with the tagline, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Okay. Now, again, they're spelling it like jeans, like Jeans. Okay. So what they're saying here is that this is really, there's a subliminal message to that. The brand described the campaign as a return to essential denim dressing, with Sweeney rocking 1970s style flare jeans paired with a denim jacket. The collection services a good cause. The Sweeny jean has a butterfly motif on the back pocket to signal domestic violence awareness, which Sydney is passionate about, the brand said in its July 23rd announcement. And 100% of the purchase prices from the Sweeney jeans will go to a crisis text line, a nonprofit offering free 24/7 confidential mental health support to anyone in need. Okay. The ad, despite its charitable links, drew mixed responses. In one of the campaign videos, a reclining Sweeney button up her jeans as the camera pans up to her body and she speaks in a matter-of-fact tone, saying jeans, and this is spelled GENES, are passed down from parents to offspring, are often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My jeans are blue. Many didn't see a problem with the ad campaign, okay? But some of it say it's too sexy for a charitable cause. And a chunk of the backlash also pointed to a more serious undertone. Some said an allusion to great genes in an ad featuring a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman felt like a reference to eugenics, the discredited belief that human population can be improved through selective breeding. What do y'all think? And they're really taking it there, y'all. Like, this is a controversial thing. You think it sounds pretty problematic? I mean, she's donating the jeans to a nonprofit, I guess. But here's the deal: I don't shop at American Eagle because they just don't make clothes for girls like me. They don't. It's very specific. You think we're overthinking it? Okay. The yoke didn't go to the high school in the 80s, obviously, with the jeans and the jean. You think it's reaching? Okay, you said it's blatantly gross. Do you guys feel like there's an undertone? Listen, it's a real question because honestly, like, we do live in a place where a lot of things get thrown at us. Okay, a lot of subliminal messaging. Is this a subliminal messaging thing? All right, because for me, like I said, if I had to learn this a lot older, not when I was younger. American Eagle kind of caters to a much younger population than me. I'll say me. I'm sure I can go and buy a pair of jeans if I wanted to, but they're very much geared towards kind of the youth, right? And they make clothes for the younger population. I was never blonde unless I dyed my hair or highlighted it. I'm definitely not looking like that. So I can't see myself in the eyes of a Sweeney, Sydney Sweeney, if that makes sense. So it's not really catered to me, but is there a underlying message here to like eugenics? You said also sounds like the Pedialyte SA gene can be inherited, almost normalizing it. Ooh. James, thank you so much for the PayPal. Oh, you are a beacon for those who need light, Rabbit. Oh, thank you, James. Appreciate you. Shout out to James. She dyes it too? She dyes her hair? So she's not a natural blonde? Well, she got the blue eyes, right? She was excellent in Echo Valley. So we're praising her work, right, as an actress. I don't know her, y'all. Like I said, I don't be watching these young people. You mean you don't have giant jeans upstairs? I'm telling you, man. They always hide stuff in plain sight. That is the question. Is there something hidden here? Is it possible that there's something hidden? I will say with the advertising, the word choice is very specific for a reason. What could that be? That is the question. My 2 cents. Okay. Looking up to advertisement dollars. Okay. All right. Isn't she a adult? Yes, she is. She's a basic actress? Lord have mercy. You don't think she's reaching at all? I'm 48, and if I was younger, I didn't have an education around the Holocaust, I wouldn't instantly notice this breadcrumb. I wouldn't have known either. I mean, I don't think I learned about the Holocaust, honestly, until I was a sophomore in high school. I mean, you learn a little bit about it in middle school, but you don't really get into the kind of history of it until you're in high school. Like, that's really when they teach you. And I remember it was a sophomore history class that I learned. And it's probably the only class. I'll tell you right now, there's only a couple of classes I paid attention to. That was one of them because it just getting to meet some people around that time. I know my history teacher brought somebody over, and I mean, it was a thing. You'd be amazed how much you can retain when you're younger, when something is really impactful. Everything we deal with in society is psychologically planned out. Why talk about this now? Ooh, Aduko, say more. You think she's a psyop? Wow. Now let me ask you a question, Cheeks. How do you all right. Let me ask y'all a question. All right, since we on this topic, okay? How do you determine when somebody is a psyop? Like, is there like an element or like a sheet or like a how do I know y'all are on psyops or I'm not a psyop? How do we know this? How do you determine who's a psyop? We go in there because now I'm wondering. I'm only laughing because Cheeks, shout out to Cheeks, she brought it up. I said, now wait a minute. I'm not real. Listen, this not real. You're not real. We're not real. It's all a hoax and it's fake news. You're a psyop too, Lord. See, you will never know you're being psyoped. This is that I'm like, can we? Okay, I'm a bot. You're a bot. There's no way to know if it's a psyop until it's revealed itself to be one. So they have to say, my name is Rabbit and I'm a psyop. Sorry, y'all. Okay, here's Cheeks. All right, shout out to Cheeks because she said psyop. That's why I had to say something. She said, you got to follow the money, follow the source. And what I mean is she's being used to push a narrative on a societal level. And don't they do that with celebrities? Honestly, like a lot of these, which, okay, side note, like the fact that politicians will use celebrities is just so, I don't know why they keep doing it, right? To run their campaign. It's ridiculous to do that, right? So yeah, like I could see this, but you won't know if somebody's a psyop unless they publicly announce it, right? Because even if you follow the money, I don't think that that's really gonna. I mean, you're gonna know that they make money. Pretty sure Sweeney has hazel eyes and isn't a natural blonde. She's a fake. She's a fake blonde. Listen, if Kim K can do it, I mean, anybody can fake it, right? You can fake it till you make it. So her eyes aren't really blue. They lied to us, y'all. Captain EO said that pretty sure her eyes are hazel and it's in a natural blonde. I don't know. I can't tell. She's a faker. Listen, she's a faker. So that's what it sounds like. You said this is why these days I pay no attention to ads, to the television, to mainstream media, anything like that I immediately don't believe whatever they're saying and wait. Hold up, I missed it. And wait for the truth, says Tara Jackson. Thank you, Tara. The biggest psyops are run by the CIA. I think we need to have a live where we talk about psyops and we just kind of make a list and then we say this psyop is here and that psyop is there. I'm a psyop rabbit too, just so you know. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. This is definitely fake. This is a green screen. I'm just kidding. Y'all are funny. Anyways, so this has been kind of trending news. Many didn't see a problem with this little ad, especially because she's donating to to a DV shelter, or I guess a DV cause, right? But some said it's too sexy for a charitable cause. Okay. I don't know what too sexy mean. I mean, she's wearing jeans, she's not wearing lingerie, so I don't get it, but okay. And a chunk of the backlash also points to a more serious undertone. Some said an allusion to great genes is an ad featuring a blonde, haired, blue-eyed woman felt like a reference to eugenics. This is what it feels like. It's not saying that that's what it is. The discredited believe that human population can be improved through selective breeding. American Eagle did not immediately return USA Today's request for comment. The response reminds us it's increasingly the norm for consumers to scrutinize brands for every angle, especially as a plug-in public pays close attention in today's political climate, according to Marcus Collin, and this is a marketing professor. There's a want and need to engage more than ever before, he said. And in the case of some brand launches, the scrutiny may be the point, he added. Listen, one of the biggest brands that I ever felt should have gotten a lot of scrutiny and never really did, not as much, was Abercrombie and Fitch, for many reasons, right? We already talked about Mike Jeffries, the CEO, but kind of there was a lot of racial undertones, and they were very unapologetic about it. They didn't give a shit. They wanted very specific people to wear the clothing that they had, right? Is it same with is it Tommy Hilfiger? It's the Tommy brand, right? He was very specific about who he wanted, what brand, who can wear it and stuff like that. And some brands are catered to certain, people than others. Listen, shout out to the Goodwill. Even though the Goodwill is trash, you got to go to a different second-hand store. But yeah, you said this sounds very Aryan Nation. The very specific ad. Ooh, shout out to Natasha. Okay. But let me know what you guys think. You said I studied social psych in college, and when I was getting close to graduating, I was basically presented with the options to get into the industrial organizational psychology or go serve my community. It's something different, right? Something different. Let me know. You said, don't they say all press is good press? Well, is it going to stop young people from buying the brand? Are they truly going to understand what they're saying? It's not going to stop them, because parents don't have time to educate their kids about some of these underlying messages, if there are underlying messages, right? Or maybe the parents are like, I don't got time and I'm accepting of that. Sure, blue eye, blue, shout out to everybody that's a blue eye and a blonde, gorgeous, but it's like I said, some of these stores are very specific to who they want to sell. And if you can't fit into a 00 times X, I don't know what to tell you. Don't eat that burger, because that's how they make it. Don't enjoy life, if you know what I mean. Okay. Shout out to everybody. Ooh, you guys came in hot. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Let's talk about Rymir. So Rymir, we got to talk about this Roc Nation situation. There's a couple of Roc Nation topics that we have going on right now, my friends. Okay. Oh, yes. I remember. Oh, that's a good one, too. That Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields is a whole different. She definitely is an interesting personality. If you ever read her material in her books and the things that she went through as a child, another child star that was severely abused by her mother and others in the industry. That's right. Abercrombie and Fitch is all connected to the Epstein issue. There were modeling agencies. We've talked about this before. You are so correct on this comment. Thank you for saying that. Hey, Gigi, man, how are you? Okay, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, okay? Rymir, put a 1 in the chat if you feel like Rymir is, in your opinion, it's your opinion. You don't have the facts. We don't know. Do you feel like Rymir is Jay-Z's unclaimed child? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 if you don't believe that. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that Rymir is Jay-Z's unclaimed child. Put a 1 in the chat, my friends. Okay, Rotten Banana said yes. 1. Okay, 1. Yes. Oh, man. Okay. All right. I had to bring this topic up because you said 1. Wait, somebody said 2. G-Man said 2. Okay, I got some 2s in here. Tina said 2. Look at this. I pay attention to the ones that say 2 as well. Look, you said 1. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. 1 and a 2. Okay, that doesn't count. Vivi's like 1 and then a 2. All right. Okay. Shout out to you. Rymir did a video yesterday, and I was gonna go live, but I was really tired yesterday, and I was working on some other edited videos. Okay, you said he doesn't look like him. I don't know. I think I don't know. At this point, I'm like, unless there's a DNA test, when are we gonna find out? But so for those that don't know, we talked about it here on this channel. Was it last week that Rymir have filed to basically have this, I guess, case dismissed with Jay-Z. The one after, and this has been a lot of channels have talked about this case, right? That he's not necessarily suing for like paternity, but there's a level of harassment that Rymir alleges that he has gone through with trying to find out whether Jay-Z is his father or not. Okay. And it's not just him, but it's his godmother too, who's been helping him as well. And all of this. So there's been like just some really weird stuff going on with this lawsuit. So Rymir files a motion last week, and we were kind of like confused by it because he kind of did it this way and he didn't really tell people like, did somebody push you to file to dismiss this? What happened? So he finally did a little clip or a little video on Twitter, and let's watch.
Hey, what's up with everybody? It's your boy Rymir here. I just want to get on here and let everybody know the updates, what's going on. It's been a crazy couple weeks, y'all. I want to let y'all know that I have not stopped my fight. I did withdraw my case. It's for a reason, y'all. It's not because I'm stopping with it or not going to refile it or anything like that. It's just a lot going on behind closed doors. That's only one case that we withdrew for right now. But it's a lot going on. You know how this industry works. These judges, these lawyers, these high celebrity people, they try to use all different types of tactics and call it what you want, bully tactics and different types of stuff to slow it down and just change the narrative. So it's like, hey, we got to step back and play chess, not checkers. So we sitting back and we just observing everything right now. I just ask y'all to keep the support.
He is being very subliminal, like he was when he posted about the lawsuit, just basically requesting to be dismissed. You said, what does he think he's going to get? He's not getting 1 red cent from Jay. Oof. He did say red. I don't know, man. Listen, we're going to talk about Roc Nation here in a little bit because there's another lawsuit that I want to talk about as well, but I haven't really got into it like that. Guys, it's a subliminal for me. We don't have time to be subliminal. That's the thing that just kind of drives me crazy. But maybe he just, because of fear, he kind of has to be.
Keep the support. I have not gotten any DNA tests. I have not gotten any settlement, anything like that. I wouldn't just take it. I would let y'all know, honestly, even if it wasn't y'all business. You know, you guys been here for me all these years, supporting me. I wouldn't dare just run away with no money or nothing like that. So, no, that's not what it is. But as I said before, y'all, just keep your eyes open. This is bigger than me. This was never just about me. I'm trying to change things for the world, honestly, for the future. We need this to be changed. We don't need to continue to go in these courtrooms and don't get fair due process and everybody don't get discoveries and you just get treated unfairly. So it's just like I'm standing on business and I will continue to fight. So please don't think this because y'all seen that withdrawal is over. It's not over, y'all. Continue to fight with me. Continue to support me.
That's right. He can't. I am tired of the subliminal, but I also feel like he can't talk specifics in the middle of a case or before judgment. Shannon's journey. Do you think it's best for him not to say anything at this point? Because I mean, people were going to have questions. Absolutely. Jay-Z's goons going to the hospital when his mother was in a medically induced position and tried to get her to sign something is not harassment. I mean, that definitely qualify. If not, I mean, it's very scary if that's what happened. There's a lot to this. And that's the thing is like, we have to kind of keep that in mind. But I do wonder what led him to just say, hey, I want this dismissed for now. Can he refile? That like you kind of run a risk though if you're just filing things to have things dismissed. He's been going at this for how many years? Well over 10 years to figure this out. I think that's part of it too, right? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? He said, when he turns to the side, I really see Jay. I see Jay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see Jay, but let's entertain this thought, okay? Somebody said when I last talked about this topic, and people came really heated about this because they felt some type of way about this. If I was Jay-Z, and he has had several, sounds like he's had some children we don't even know about, okay? Let's be very real, all right? Some children that have come out, and this is not like rare. There are celebrities out there that have children that are not in the public eye. And some of the mothers, as long as the child's being taken care of, I wouldn't, I put myself in that position, right? If I had a child from a celebrity, okay? As long as my child's being taken care of and I'm not trying to be in the public, I can be quiet. I don't need to be public about this stuff. I don't. I'm not asking my child to be in red carpets. I'd probably prefer that not be the case, because that would make it hard for my child to be in school. Like, there's a level of privacy that, in order to grow up in a semi-normal environment, you would want your child to have. I wouldn't mind that. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind that. But there's also this other side where we have to understand that there's probably a lot of children out there that have been fathered by these celebrities, that we don't even know about, right? And they have the money to keep things quiet, and they have the money to give settlements out there, or hush money and stuff like that. I have a lot of questions about this. From what I understand, he did not have representation. Maybe he has found some representation and they wanted to refile formally. Tish, if that is the case, then all an attorney would have to do is just make himself known in the docket, in the minute orders. He doesn't have to close the case. He could just have the judge could just file something to make his presence known in that docket. That's what I like. I was a little bit because the way I see it is like, it takes a long time to serve somebody. It takes a long time to do these like various things and whatnot. If he's driving his lawsuit by himself, all on his own, it's very hard. Look at the lawyers that Jay-Z has. Alex Spiro doesn't play. Alex Spiro, allegedly, and in my opinion, looks like he's got people that watch YouTube. They're able to take YouTube channels, put them to sleep for a while, if you know what I mean. If you got the CEO lady up there in that picture from Roc Nation, or if you're saying something that's just out of pocket, they'll get you. And they don't care whether you make $25,000 a year or $10,000 a year or nothing. They will come for you. They don't care. They are watching. And that's just the kind of money that they got, So I think that people do have to be careful. Could he be scared? Potentially. Maybe there's something more to this that we just don't know. Oh my God, Cash, thank you so much for this. I have very little idea who all these people are, but I am confident that they're all AI psyops. Cash, are you a psyop? Aren't we all psyops? Just joking. We got to talk. We'll have a different live about psyops. We were talking about that. I find the topic to be very intriguing, by the way. Cash, thank you for being a longtime supporter of this channel. Thank you. But anyways, so as I was saying, so I do kind of have to wonder, well, what had happened and what led up to this and what happened? Like, what do you guys make of it? Hold up. You said, you said TED Talk didn't they let somebody, at least one person, get up and talk about the length of normalizing pedophilia? Ooh. Why won't he just go to Jay's favorite bar and pick up the cup that he was drinking out of to get his DNA? G-Man, you must have watched that out of a movie. Was it the Pelican Brief? I forgot which one, where they picked it. There was a movie out there where they picked up somebody's cup they had drank that the officer offered. That is giving Law and Order, SVU. This shit don't go like that. I mean, they could, but I don't know. Y'all are doing too much in the chat. But shout out to you guys. Oh my God, hold on. When he loses, how he's planning on paying said representation? He's after some bread like a pigeon? Six the truth? What do you mean? What do you mean like a pigeon? Now, let me ask you guys a question. If this man can actually get a DNA test and he's actually Jay-Z's son, what are you guys going to say then? Or maybe he's not. What are we going to say then? I don't know. You have to kind of figure this out. That's right. It is giving 48 hours. Okay, let's keep watching. You guys are funny in the chat. Hold up. Let's see. So he's still fighting the fight. He doesn't want support to stop. I'm just going to go back a little bit.
Courtrooms and don't get fair due process, and everybody don't get discoveries, and you just get treated unfairly. So it's just like, I'm standing on business, and I will continue to fight. So please don't think just because y'all seeing that withdrawal is over. It's not over, y'all. Continue to fight with me. Continue to support me. I will support y'all. I love all y'all, and let's just keep moving forward. Let's just do that. That's all we can do, right? Can't sit there and dwell on nothing. As y'all said, I got a family. I got to take care of my family. I'm grown.
So why drop the suit if it's not over? I mean, the judge still has to dismiss and review different things, but put it in the chat. Why do you guys believe he dropped the suit if it's not over? So, some can speculate, well, did he get threatened? And he's not saying that. Some could speculate that is it possible that that there's more to this? I mean, there's a lot to speculate here. What do y'all think? Okay? Let me know. Look.
That's what I do. So it's like, I don't sit there and complain about too much. Try not to complain at all. But what I'm saying is I really appreciate all y'all love and support, and it's not over.
It's not over. Counsel advised, paid off. The pineapple head visited him. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, my God. Well, somebody, you said money? Jurisdiction corruption. I'd find one of Jay-Z's cousins and get a DNA test. You'd have better luck with that than taking it out of a cup, believe it or not, I think. As long as you're making it legitimate. Y'all are crazy. You said this guy should publish his DNA on a genealogy site. Hey, that's a good idea. Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he publish it? Has he pulled his DNA? You know how they have those 23andMe's or whatever type of situation? I mean, he could do that. Why doesn't he do that? The answer is in the docket. What does the docket say? Elijah Clark, thank you. If you can share in the chat, that'd be amazing. You said, I'm late, but to add to the light of the eugenics was exposed to be a Trump supporter. Sometimes the apple don't fall. Ooh, Mommy Brown, my goodness. Okay, so if the mother had another man pay child support, that would be fraud, which doesn't make the mother look credible when it comes to her claims. That's Jay-Z. That Jay-Z is the father. Okay, he did go to 23andMe and found he's related to one of Jay-Z's aunts. See, Natasha, I didn't know that. So through 23andMe, he found out he was related to an aunt of Jay. Wow. Wow. Had no idea. You said if he's matched with the cousin, that would at least put him in either he's apparently matched with a family member. His mother has passed away many years ago. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that about Natasha just put that allegedly. Natasha said that he did a 23andMe. Where did your comment go, Natasha? I missed it. Well, I put it up earlier. I do wonder though. You said, is he wanting Jay to read him bedtime stories as a grown man? Have y'all seen Jay's? Oh, there's no resemblance. You guys are really going in on these comments. Listen, I will say this. I wasn't there. I'm just reporting on the news. Okay. But if you guys have an idea as to what happened, let me know in the chat. Maybe he got scared, or maybe he realized, or maybe he's just like, I'm just going to say this, even though I got a little payment over here. I don't know. Can we truly trust? We won't know. We won't know what led up to this, especially because he's got everybody supporting him in this fight. So I think it's fair for there to be a level of transparency about what really happened. It's a fair question. Like, people are fighting for you. You know, maybe they're donating for you. Are they donating to a legal fund or just donating to him? Yeah, no. You said there was a match. He just stated that the 23andMe was blocked before he provided data. Rymir doesn't have any intel feedback from that. Thank you, Elijah. That's interesting. Mm, 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 mm. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, we got to move on. Now, I kind of, before we go here, we have a little bit of breaking news here. But before we go to this breaking news, I do want to talk about, since we're on the Roc Nation train right here, let's talk about Milagro Gramz real quick. Now, I talked briefly about this, all right? YouTuber Milagro Gramz ordered to pay Meg the Stallion lawyers $5,000. Okay. In my opinion, I think that this is a lawsuit that if you're a YouTuber, you should be paying attention to, right? I'm not like I listen, Meg the Stallion, as it pertains to Tory Lanez, I have a lot of questions about that case, even though the man has been found guilty and sentenced and all that other stuff. I feel like there was a lot of missing parts to this whole situation. You know what I mean? And this is just my thought on that. But before Tory Lanez, I would watch Milagro, and there was a case here on YouTube where shit hit really the fan, and victims were getting threatened, and victims were being exposed, and all kinds of things. And then that man was found guilty and sentenced to like 50 years. And victims would come to her and tell her, there was one specific victim she did an interview with, and she was a child when the alleged R-ing happened to her. And she kind of ignored that. And, you know, a lot of people came after these victims. And there was a lot of people that there was like a hub of them over a celebrity. Okay. So this is why people have to be careful about how much you like support a celebrity as a blogger, because shit does get real. And like I said, I've had people of a celebrity kind, when they want you to run a certain agenda, they'll drop some hints, they'll drop some stuff, they'll drop some things in your inbox. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. Okay. So let's talk about this real quick. So this is the YouTuber Milagro Gramz has been ordered to pay $5,000 to cover attorney fees for Meg the Stallion. It's only $5,000. Okay. It could be $10,000. It could be $25,000. $5,000 is on the low end. There could be more later. According to legal documents obtained by Complex, a federal judge in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida is ordering Gramz, whose real name is Milagro. We're going to call her Milagro Gramz. I think everybody knows her. To pay fees incurred by rapper's lawyers by forcing the disclosure of Milagro's texts, as well as other potential evidence. Okay. And Megan Cuniff is one that's been following a lot of this. An online commentator being sued for defamation. Now, Megan Cuniff, you know that this is Milagro Gramz. Call her Milagro. Like, we know this. Online commentator sued for defamation by Meg the Stallion must pay $5,000 to cover Meg's attorney's fees. So a federal judge ordered Milagro to cover the cost of Megan's lawyers having to force the disclosure of Milagro's texts and other possible evidence. So they have the order there, and it is signed. Megan's lawyers believe that some important texts on WhatsApp messages have been tampered with, but the judge has yet to rule on that issue. Okay. It's what we have so far. The rapper's legal team claimed that Gramz missed the May 27 deadline to provide digital records that include her private messages and metadata. So they're pulling. The allegation is that Milagro Gramz was paid by Tory Lanez's father and Tory Lanez's camp. I'm going to say that, to basically smear Meg the Stallion's name, and that Milagro Gramz has been the guinea pig of that. There has been a lot of allegations. There was allegations that Milagro released a AI video of a deep fake prawn of Meg the Stallion, and it was a deep fake. And so this is like escalated to other levels, if you know what I mean. But hold up, let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. This is why you guys got to be careful on the YouTube when you are doing all this, you know? Aren't you even concerned about MJW drowning? Are you? Who's MJ? Are you talking about Malcolm? Yes, but I don't have enough information to even talk about that right now. I've been told that there's been some controversy, and I did talk about Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yes, I did. Thank you. But let me know what you guys think. Again, let's see. On you said, or the checks have stopped. Well, you still talking about Jay-Z. She only tweeted the existence and then removed the tweet, says Mr. Breezy. And they got her on that. But you know, the thing is that they were watching her. The thing is that people have to be careful when you're online doing all this. People are watching you. So if she tweeted the deep fake, they were watching her stuff. They were waiting for her already. They already didn't like her when she was on the trial, reporting on the stuff that was going on. They were already watching her. She kind of had like this target on her back. And so it kind of, you have to be very careful. She did not release the video. She only tweeted it. Thank you, Mr. Breezy, for correcting that. You have to be careful. You said, and nothing is truly removed from the internet. No, it's not. You have to be careful. But what I'm saying to you guys is it's not the first time that Milagro has found herself in this kind of controversy. If you guys remember the Kaylin Walker case, go back to that case. We covered that case very extensively. Kaylin Walker had ARD, okay, a lot of women in the South Central area, okay? And he was recruiting Instagram models, and then he was R-ing them, okay? And it was just very graphic. And the thing is that a lot of the bloggers, when they were reporting this, they were having close contact with them. Kaylin Walker was releasing child porn. This is the stuff that nobody's talking about. Kaylin Walker was releasing child porn to bloggers. It was a video of Kaylin having S with a child. A young jock was in that video too. Nobody can tell me I'm lying because it was out there. Okay. And it was released in various Discords and various Patreons. And a lot of bloggers got in trouble. And immediately, because there were so many interviews lined up for that. And immediately when people found out that it was child porn that was being released to bloggers, people shut up about it. You don't hear anybody talking about it anymore. You don't hear people talking about it anymore. Other folks, Tasha, other folks too. Other folks. That's why. And Milagro kind of got into this controversy here with this. And you know, she's talked about it briefly, but I don't think she's ever really like addressed some of that publicly. Kaylin Walker was guilty, and he was sentenced to like 50 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a great question, Jack Hanna. Where's his charges? It's a real thing. So people got to be careful. People forgot about Kaylin Walker. I haven't, because I remember that situation very well. And there was a lot of bloggers that were attacking people. So I'm not surprised. I think for me, it's like kind of watching how that was handled. I'm not surprised that this is the stuff that's happening right now. I truly hope that she figures this out, because like I said, I'm not a hater like that. I hope that she figures this out, but it's not the first time that she has found herself in controversy. When the Kaylin Walker shit happened, people were attacking those victims, and then he got sentenced to 50 years, especially, and there was DNA evidence, mind you, there was DNA evidence that he had AR'd people. Okay. And the women, and some of them were minors, and people ignored that in the blogger sphere here on YouTube. And they kept communication with Kaylin Walker, and they kept interviewing him, and they allowed him to peddle his lies. And then he gets found guilty, and suddenly everybody wants to forget about Kaylin Walker. I haven't forgotten, because I still get, till this day, I still get people that send me threats over that. Okay. Over not, catering to Kaylin Walker and his narrative. And he used a lot of bloggers to release information and to intimidate victims. He was doing that. There's phone calls out there. I released a phone call where he was getting another blogger to set up a victim in his criminal case. That's how fucked up that was. And a lot of these bloggers were supporting Kayland Walker when a lot of that shit was going down. Didn't speak about it. They allow that shit to happen. Very selective. Kayland, he was like let me see. He was like a D-list celebrity. He did some movies. I'll show you. He's not, let's see. Damn, I can't even Google him anymore. This is him. This is him. Right here, Kayland Walker. Look it up. There's a lot. I have a lot of old videos. You guys can go see them. This was back in 2021. Yep. He was in the he did a movie with Halle Berry too. He was on Superfly, that's right. But this guy, I got to interview one of the victims, two of the victims, and then I got to interview a juror who went to trial, who was one of the juror members actually contacted me after the trial. And he told me this guy, there's a lot of shit that was not shared in the media about what he did. And the juror actually, because you can do interviews after, you do your case. He actually reached out to me on social media and he said, hey, this was maybe a month after the trial was over. And he said, hey, I just got done with this trial and I didn't even know who this guy was or anything like that. So once the trial was over, he started doing his research, which is what you can do. And he said, I didn't know that you're the only blogger that was reporting the facts of everything. When it came to this, I'll show you guys which video it was. And like I said, this is in 2021. I wasn't even showing my face then. Baby Bunny was just still very young. Let me see if I can find the video. And then we got to go into this other breaking news that's happening. Let's see. Hold up. And his team still, his team will still contact. They'll still what's the word? They'll try to intimidate because that's what they do. They want you to say a certain thing or whatever. This was a deep thing when this happened. And a lot of people didn't even know. This is the juror interview. This is back when, this is it. This was literally, I want to say, Kayland KR, because he went by KR Walker, juror from trial speaks out on verdict. This was 3 years ago. Okay, so this is what the video was. I'm gonna put it in the and back then I was really, I think I was maybe under 5,000 subscribers back then. And this is the video. You guys go check it out. I'll put it in the community wall so you guys can review it. But this was, the one time that blogger, there's several times, but bloggers got it wrong on this one. They literally got it wrong. Remember this? And I show you guys, this is an actual juror. He showed me the letter of when he did jury duty service. He showed it all for me. So you all check it out. It was a very interesting interview. And like I said, a lot of, Kayland Walker was R-ing people. And he would name drop celebrities like Drake, to get a lot of young girls to kind of connect with him and stuff like that. So it was a real thing. That was I couldn't believe it, how deep. And then people, the YouTubers, a lot of them, it wasn't just one, it was a lot of them that kind of, they were intimidating victims and they were talking shit about the victims and not even knowing that they were underage victims because Kayland was lying to them and they were only taking his side. Check out all that content. That was at least 4 years ago now that we did that, or 3. Okay, moving on. So again, hopefully Milagro can figure that out with that whole situation. But like I said, it's not the first time that she has gotten in trouble over supporting things that like that. Okay, specific people. All right, so Tara, thank you so much for the 99 cents. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Cash, thank you again for the super chat towards Rabbit's legal fund. Lord have mercy, no, I don't want a legal fund. And I'm gonna require more than that for a legal fund. Okay, let's hope I never need a legal fund. So far we're doing a good job, even though we do be getting in trouble sometimes, but that's okay. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about. So this is David Oscar Marcus is the lawyer for Ghislaine Maxwell. All right, so this just dropped. Okay, here's our statement. Now let me go back a little bit. Ghislaine has been doing interviews with the DOJ. They went, the men in blue suits went to the DOJ, the men in blue suits went to go visit Ghislaine. And it wasn't just one, it was like, I don't know, 8 or 10 of them that basically went to go see her where she's located. And she met with them on Thursday and she met with them on Friday. Okay, we saw some pictures of that. There's a picture of her holding a box, of quote unquote maybe evidence. That's what we're thinking it is, right? And she names 100 names. This is what her attorney said. Now, on the same day, Donald Trump said that he has the power to pardon her. He just hasn't thought about it. I call BS because I think that I just call BS. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yep. I call BS on that. So this is David Oscar Marcus. He says, here's our statement about Ghislaine reply brief that we filed in the Supreme Court today. So they filed something today. No one is above the law, not even the Southern District of New York. Our government made a deal and it must honor it. The United States cannot promise immunity with one hand in Florida and prosecute in the other in New York. President Trump built his legacy in part on the power of a deal. And surely he would agree that when the United States gives its words, it must stand by it. We are appealing not only to the Supreme Court, but to the president himself to recognize how profoundly unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, especially when the government promised that she would not be prosecuted. Lord have mercy. Let's get into this here. So this was dropped today. Axios has an article for us. Oh man, don't let them bury the list or burn it. Somebody better check that chimney on the White House. Do they burn files over there too? Can the files be burned? Is there chimneys in the White House? Is that a stupid question? I do have that. I don't know. Does the White House have any chimneys? Let me see. Let me Google search this because that's going to bother me. Does the White House have a chimney? Yes, my love. Yes, they have multiple chimneys. I want to make sure that they check every chimney, make sure they don't burn nothing. Okay. Sorry, y'all. You said the Trump story changed today. They're gonna delete. They're gonna burn. You said chimney sweep is on. That's it. We need to do a chimney sweep. That's what we need to do. You said when you sound so cute when you say chimney. Did I say it wrong? How do you say chimney? Listen, I told you I make up words. Chimney. Chimney. Is it okay? Let's stop. Chimney. Okay, does the White House have incinerators? Luigi said they have incinerators. Pronunciation. I'm gonna try to say it. Chimney. I did say it wrong. Look.
Chimney.
I said chimney. Chimney.
Chimney.
Chimney. I totally said it. Listen, I love this.
Chimney.
I love this. Yes, I have to look. Cheeks, you be making me look like a fool out here. I don't like you. Don't do that to me. No, Rabbit. Don't look it up. No, stop it. Chimney. I like chimney. See, anyways.
Chimney.
Okay. Shout out to see, I live on this. I really do. I forget how to say words and I have to like type them up. How do you say this? You know how they used to make you clap your syllables out? Chimney. I told you guys I'm hooked on phonics till today. That's right. Chimney gate. Chimney. That's right, Sylvia. Chimney gate. Anyways. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about this situation. Well, apparently you have 35 fireplaces and chimney. These chimneys are regularly cleaned and maintained by a team of sweepers. But Luigi says they have incinerators. You know what I mean? You said, if you teach me how to roll my I could roll the R's. I could roll R like no other. I just can't be there's some words I just can't say. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the way my brain is wired. Anyways, hold up. Let me close some of these tabs so I can. Okay, let's go to the content, please, and thank you. Okay, let me stop telling you guys about my childhood traumas. Ghislaine, another name we can't pronounce. Maxwell files a Supreme Court brief appealing to Epstein conviction. Now I'm gonna need this brief. Oh, are you gonna make me subscribe? Oh, we have it. Oh, yes. Do we have it? We have it. Oh, yes. Give me 1 sec, y'all. I got to get the sitter in here. Oh, we about to review this. Let's review this. I need to get my water. Are y'all ready? Okay, when we review, drop a 1 in the chat if we should review this situation. I'm here for it. Let me get the sitter on deck. Okay, hold up. Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay, here we go. All right. I just needed to make sure we got everything ready. Dang, I didn't think we were gonna get this. Well, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. The official United States in the I can't even read. In the Supreme Court of the United States, Ghislaine Maxwell, aka Sealed Defendant 1, petitioner versus the United States of America, responded. Okay. On petition for writ of some other word that I can't say, and then we'll have to pronounce. But I want to get to, there's a table of contents for this. Reasons for granting the petition. Okay, let's go right to the narrative. Look at all these cases. Here it is. Reasons for granting the petition. This case presents a straightforward and important question about the government's obligation to honor its promise in plea and non-prosecution agreements. Remember the prosecution agreement, the non-prosecutorial agreement that Jeffrey signed? Yes. Okay. Well, Vicky just asked the question, how the hell did she surpass all the lower courts? I don't know, man. She did that like Monopoly move, you know? You collect 200 and you pass go. That's what it looks like to me. Collect 200 and pass go. Don't go back. Go. See you in Park Place. You know, all those fancy little things. Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth. I know, right? She did. That's what Vicky did. Let's keep going, okay? The petition asks whether a U.S. attorney promise made on behalf of the United States binds the entire United States. The government brief in opposition only underscores the importance of this question. Most significantly, the government concedes a circuit split on the issue, effectively admitting that the defendant's rights hinge on the happenstance of geography. Such an acknowledged conflict among the circuits demand this court's intervention. Rather than grapple with the core principle of plea agreements, the government tries to distract by reciting a lurid and irrelevant account of Jeffrey Epstein's misconduct. But this case is about what the government promised, not what Epstein did. What did the government promise? Boy, the government makes a lot of promises. Thank you so much. A writ certiorari is a legal document issued by a higher court to a lower court, requesting the lower court to send it up straight up for a case review. So is he bypassing all these courts? That is interesting. They just had an appeal. Like, I want to say, was it 20? No, she was convicted in 2021. And then there was like an appeal in 2022. So there's that. Thank you. Yeah, shout out to Vicky. That is a mouthful. Okay, hold up. Even more remarkably, the government advances an interpretation of its non-prosecution agreement that flips its plain meaning on its head. Promising not to prosecute somehow meant preserving the right to prosecute. That is not contract interpretation. It is alchemy. Plea agreements are supposed to be strictly construed against the government. Yet here, the government isn't even asking for the benefit of the doubt. It is asking for a blank check to rewrite its own promise after the fact. The government's only real argument is that the Second Circuit overrule is correct on the merit, while the other circuits have it wrong. Ooh, my eye's itchy. We obviously disagree, but regardless, the court should grant. I want to learn how to say this word. Give me 1 second. Google, where are you? I mean, we know the legal definition, but I want to learn how to say it. Pronounce it. Okay, I'm not the only one. Okay, hurry up, Julian.
It can be said two different ways. Certiorari.
Certiorari?
Certiorari, or it is also correct to say certiorari.
Certiorari or certiorari? We're going to learn today. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I learned how to say that word. Thank you. Grant certiorari so that all circuits employ that same rule. Okay, got it. Wrong? Why y'all? You said wrong. Coco's mom, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Hi, Rabbit. How are you, Coco's mom? I've never even seen that word. That's what I'm saying. I'll admit, I don't even know what the word means. All right, get it together, y'all. All right. I like that. This is his name is he's a French person that likes to pronounce words, I guess. This is what he said. Google didn't have a definition for it. Okay, wait. How about this one? Hold up before we doing too much. Look at this one. I be watching these videos.
Certiorari or certiorari.
Certiorari? Certiorari? Certiorari. All right, that's right. We are back in school. It's the legal words. Okay. I told you, this is what I do sometimes. I look up words to figure out if I said them correctly. All right. So grant certiorari so that all circuit employ that same rule. This circuit splits presents an exceptional important question. Plea and non-prosecution agreements resolve nearly every federal case. They routinely include promises that extend to others, co-conspirators, family members, potential witnesses, if those promises mean different things in different parts of the country, then trust in our system collapses. The court should grant certiorari and restore consistency and credibility to the government's word. Okay, so he's like, you guys need to keep it. Certiorari. Like it's cert. Thank you. I'm gonna say certiorari. Yeah. This is her last appeal, and she's in the highest court unless a future law changes. That's right. Appeal to the Supreme. Yeah, we just talked about it. Maxwell legal team has filed a petition. We're looking at it right now. Sister Craft, certiorari. I don't know if I'm an educational channel, Sandy, but I try. And then here comes Sylvia with her Mary Poppins picture. She's trying to say Mary Poppins. Okay. Let's keep going. I would hope that people know that we're not giving legal advice because this is, or political advice for that matter, but let's keep going. Okay. The government concedes that the circuits are split as to whether a promise on behalf of the United States by a United States Attorney's Office in one district is binding upon other districts. The government, like the Second Circuit in the opinion below, agrees that there's a clear circuit split on the precise question posed by the petition. Okay, so United States versus Maxwell. As the Second Circuit noted, this conflict is well documented and long-standing. Indeed, the government points out the litigants have sought the court's clarification on this issue at least as far as back as 2011, when this court denied the certiorari. Okay? The United States argues that the split is 3-2 in favor of the petitioner, not 4-2, claiming that the Ninth Circuit has not expressly addressed the matter at that issue. While not expressed, the Ninth Circuit is pretty clear that it agrees with the petitioner's position. Okay. Let me keep going because this is like a lot. The government seeks to minimize the split as a limited importance because the scope of a plea or a similar agreement is under the control of the parties to the agreement. This turns a blind eye to the problem. The very premise of petitioner's argument is that the parties to the NPA did seek to control the scope of the relevant causes by narrowing the scope of immunity for Epstein through the use of narrow language, specifying enforceability only in the Southern District of Florida, and then expanding the scope of it as his co-conspirators by using the broad term the United States. While doing so, Epstein's lawyers were no doubt informed by how that language was interpreted in the jurisdiction in which they were practicing. Yet, by definition, the issue presented in this case and in every other, like, it's only arises when the language in question is being interpreted in a different jurisdiction than the one where the agreement was negotiated. Accordingly, and uniformity in interpretation of such a provision is unusually and particularly compelling. The very nature of a clause of this nature, unlike most other clauses in the agreement, which are not cross-jurisdictional in the nature, cries out for a nationwide symmetry. The government also contends, rather bizarrely, that this is not itself a case that turns on default rule. To the contrary, it is precisely the Second Circuit's default rule adopted in United States versus Aniba that doomed petitioner to stand trial on the case that would have been dismissed outright in at least half of the country. The primary reason is this court should grant certiorari to create one single default rule across the country as to what parties mean when they use the term the United States without further qualification. Now, hold up. Let me do something real quick. I want to pull something. Because with all this dense kind of reading, it's very easy to miss the point of what they're trying to do here. So a certiorari is it's a writ or an order by which a higher court reviews a decision of the lower court. But see, Vicky in the chat here said, how come did they just skip over courts? Aren't they supposed to like appeal to a lower court? Okay, let me put this in the chat just so I don't get myself confused. Okay. So for this is the meaning, this is the word, this is what they're wanting to do. So my heart goes out to victims who are being re-traumatized by the BS of this administration is doing. Okay. What are we pronouncing words advice? That's right. You said the Maxwell replied, in most recent filings, Ghislaine submitted a really brief, a reply brief to the Supreme Court on July 28th. Yeah, this is what we're seeing right now. Copy the word into Chat GPT and ask to explain to me like a seventh grader. You said, was she even brought up in charges in Florida, or was it just Epstein? Not in Florida. I thought hers was in New York. I don't think it was Florida. Not in Florida. Okay, let's keep going. The Second Circuit decision below is wrong and violates the principles set forth in the court's prior opinion. So, okay, so I have to kind of like, let's see if we can review this, because this is just too dense for me to kind of go through, and it's going to take us forever. Especially because I feel like I'm not really understanding everything that's being said. The case is an ideal vehicle for resolving the split over this important and recruiting question. The conclusion: for the reasons, the court should grant the petition for certiorari. Okay, that's it. That it's just a brief little opinion on it. Yeah, the non-prosecute. This is pertaining to the non-prosecution deal. Was she given it? This is the question that I have: is that was she considered a co-conspirator? Because if you guys remember, and I'm going by what the 2007 Epstein non-prosecutorial deal, where they named those defendants, they didn't call Ghislaine by name. They called a bunch of other potential possible co-conspirators. She was one that was charged. You said, I think so too. I think the original charges of 2008 were Florida, and that's the one point she was trying to say, is that she had a deal from that case. I didn't think that. Well, let me stop because I don't want to confuse myself. Anyways, so let's see if we can pull this article from Axios real quick. Axios, do I really need a subscription? Get another. It's like all these articles I'm gonna need to get a subscription for. It's almost like Netflix at this point. File Supreme Court brief. Let's see if they can break it down for us. Because I'm reading it and I'm like, what the hell am I reading? But they're quoting other cases too. Okay, we are going to use, I'm going to cheat a little bit. We're going to use Safari because Safari doesn't know. Axios doesn't know that I'm using Safari. Is this Windows? Yada, yada. Is this it? Yep, I think this is it. Yep. Thank you, Safari. Ghislaine Maxwell filed Supreme Court brief appealing Epstein's convictions. Okay, so was this today? Yes, 2 hours ago. Ghislaine Maxwell pressed ahead with the appeal to the Supreme Court on Monday today, seeking to overturn her conviction on the grounds that she was unlawfully prosecuted for trafficking minors with Epstein. Why it matters. The filing by Maxwell, who was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison, comes in 2022, comes just after 3 days after she met with the top Justice Department officials, tapped to a re-examination of the Epstein case. The Trump administration had faced weeks of bipartisan backlash after reneging on promises to release all files related to the now deceased trafficker. MAGA activists have suggested that Maxwell, a British former socialite, could be the key to exposing new information about the alleged elite Pedialyte ring at the heart of Epstein's conspiracy theories. Okay, so Maxwell appeal revolves around a highly controversial, yes, that's right. So it was for the 2007 plea agreement negotiated with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Florida. Yeah, but that was between Epstein and Florida. What does that have to do with her? Somehow she was involved in that? Let's keep going. Okay. So I'm learning this. I'm learning, y'all. So I do apologize. I'm learning. The United States, the plea agreement stated agreed that it will not institute any criminal charges against any potential co-conspirators of Epstein, included but not limited to 4 other suspects. That's right. And those suspects were named in that document that we reviewed here, okay? But Ghislaine was not named in that document. Maxwell was not listed as one of those suspects, but her lawyers argue she didn't need to be. Okay. This one right here, the one that we've reviewed this right here multiple times already. Oh yeah, it's there. See that? And this is where we pulled those names and we were looking at to see who these co-conspirators were, okay? Maxwell's name did not come up. If y'all remember, we were reviewing that here, okay? All right. So where did I leave off at? The United States, the plea agreement stated Maxwell was not listed as one of those suspects, but her lawyers argue she didn't need to be. Between the lines, Maxwell's attorneys, the husband-wife team of Mona and David Oscar Marcus, contends that a plain reading of the deal protects unnamed co-conspirators as well, since it explicitly says it's not limited to those listed. Oh, it did say that. You said, is Judge Judy on the list? Wait a minute. That's right. The NPA granted federal immunity to Epstein and any potential co-conspirator, but it did not name her. Little loophole. I didn't even think of that. Hold up. Let me go. Why don't we go? Well, let me finish reading this and then we're going to go to it again, okay? Because like I said, I do have this document. Maxwell's attorney, okay, so we read this part. Marcus also argues that the language in the deal promising immunity from the United States means Maxwell could be prosecuted. Means Maxwell couldn't be prosecuted for Epstein-related crimes anywhere in the country. The government argument across the board is essentially an appeal to what it wishes the agreement had said, rather than what it actually says. Mona Marcus wrote in the petition. The other side, the Justice Department says former U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, who negotiated the deal, didn't have authority to bind other federal districts, including the Southern District of New York, where Maxwell was ultimately tried and convicted. Okay, the intrigue. Federal appeals court have split over the key questions of whether a plea deal struck by one of U.S. Attorney's office applies to the entire Justice Department. The Justice Department acknowledged that divide in its own belief, but has urged the Supreme Court to reject Maxwell's appeal. The government was not even aware of Maxwell's role in Epstein's scheme at the time, DOJ argued, calling her at most an incidental third-party beneficiary of the agreement. Well, that's like, doesn't that sound kind of like the government was not even aware of Maxwell's role in Epstein's scheme at the time, the DOJ argued, calling her at most an incidental third-party beneficiary of the agreement? That's like, what are we doing here? Yes, state and federal are both different. So she can and could be charged in districts. There's no limitations to that, right? Given that, I mean, some of these were child crimes. So the NPA only applies to federal charges in the Southern District of Florida. It says included but not limited to, and it names other women, but it implies that Ghislaine is covered under it also. Oh my God, Shannon. Like, what do you think is going to happen here? But she was a co-conspirator. They didn't mention their names. They didn't need to, right? Because of the language. But does this cover her? I know. The vague and sweeping language of the 2007 deal allowed her and others to be de facto protected, at least temporarily, from federal prosecution in that jurisdiction. That protection ended when she was indicted in New York in 2020. Well, I guess she wants to add Lord have mercy. I mean, let's keep going with the article, okay? Because this is a lot. The government was not even aware of Maxwell's role in Epstein's scheme at the time, the DOJ argued, okay? Calling her at most an incidental third-party beneficiary of the agreement, okay? The fact that Epstein's plea agreement is still reverberating? Let me make sure I said that correctly. I think I said it correctly. Is still 18 years later underscores just how unusual it was. The sweetheart deal has fueled conspiracy theories and criticisms about how well connected escaped justice. Okay, hold up. Roy Black, the lawyer, dies, right? Just like recently, okay? He just died. And he's the one that helped connect all this. He never called it a sweetheart deal. Matter of fact, he took offense to it if anybody would call it a sweetheart deal. He didn't like that, okay? Just so people are aware. He's not happy about people saying that. But I mean, I definitely considered it a sweetheart deal, given that, I mean, all these federal crimes, and then he only gets like state charges, and then he gets, they cater the probation to him. It was really weird. And the supervision, the court supervision to him. Yeah. So I would consider that a sweetheart deal. I mean, there's a lot of Pedialites out there that are behind bars for many years, sometimes for life, and money talks. They don't have these resources that Epstein had, right? To make things happen, to get out of stuff. This man had that. He was very well connected to large people, a lot of corporations, a lot of people, and people are very quiet at this point about this. Okay, let's keep going. The deal drew national attention during Trump's first term after he appointed Acosta to be his labor secretary. Acosta resigned under the scrutiny. In 2020, an internal Justice Department report from its Office of Professional Responsibility wrapped Acosta for using poor judgment in essentially giving a wrist slap to a Pedialite. I've never read this report. Okay. Maxwell is appealing as much to the Supreme Court as she is to Trump, who said Friday he hasn't considered but won't rule it out a pardon for his former Palm Beach associate. I swear, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing. No conflicts of interest. Todd Blanche being the former lawyer, going to go see her. No, his lawyer. It's just there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. David Marcus told reporters Friday that Maxwell was asked maybe about 100 different people in her 2 days of interviewing with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and answered every single question. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon yet, he says. They're bringing that up. The president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right way. They're trying to paint this woman as a victim. Look, okay, there's two areas that I want to see two things here from this. I want to go to this report that they did on Acosta, but I also want to let's go back to the plea agreement where it states that, and I think you guys can see my screen. Yes, you can. Okay. And do me a favor, guys, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. It's very important. Okay. The word was, if I remember correctly, the word was possible co-conspirators. I don't even think I spelled that correctly, but let's see what it pulls up. Nada. Can't remember what page it was. Oh, here it is. Page 6. Oh, thank you. I didn't even have to spell it all the way. Here it is. Let's look at the language that it says that in. Here it is. Remember when we read this, y'all? It was a very short read. It wasn't very long, okay? I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller and see if I can zoom into this. Can I? I don't think I can zoom in. Okay. That's okay. I'm going to make myself smaller anyways. Thank you. All right, hold up. I don't think this subject will ever die. It said page 6. Here it is. So the United States shall provide Epstein's lawyer with the list of individuals who may be identified as victims. After Epstein has signed this agreement and been sentenced, upon the execution of the agreement, the United States, in consultation with and subject to good faith approval of Epstein counsel, shall select an attorney representative for these persons who shall be paid for by Epstein. Epstein had to pay for their lawyers. Okay, hold up. Where are the names? Okay, let's go find it again. It says page 6. I'm looking for it. Epstein understands. Oh, here it is. Okay. In consideration of Epstein's agreement to plead guilty and to provide compensation in the manner described above, if Epstein successfully fulfills all the terms and conditions of this agreement, the United States also agrees that it will not institute any criminal charges against any potential co-conspirators of Epstein, including, look at the language, including but not limited to Sarah Kellen, Adriana Ross, Leslie Groff, or Nadia Marcinkova. Okay. Including but not limited to. Further, upon execution of this agreement and a plea agreement with the United States Attorney's Office, the federal grand jury investigation will be suspended, and all pending federal grand jury subpoenas will be held in abeyance unless and until the defendants violates any terms of that agreement. So it's that language that basically before it says the co-conspirators. It says very clear right here. If Epstein successfully fulfills all the terms and conditions of this agreement, the United States also agreed that it will not institute any criminal charges against any potential co-conspirators. So that could very well have been Maxwell. Any potential. Mercy Miami, thank you so much for the 5. We watched Nate the Lawyer video, which explains it. They never enter the last paragraph, which usually includes jurisdiction. Highly unusual. Okay, I'm going to check it out. Thank you, Mercy Miami. We'll pull that up right now. That is so interesting. Said it's more files or what she told the DOJ last week. Is it more files? I don't know. We don't even know what she, Miss Toby, we don't even know what she said yet. We just know that she gave 100 names. They haven't disclosed that. So what the news is now is that they're appealing to the Supreme Court because of the language of this agreement that Epstein did. It doesn't name her as a co-conspirator, but the language says something like this. And let me move it over here because I can't see this way. Any potential co-conspirator of Epstein, included but not limited to, and then they name like 4 of them. So even though she was not named here, she's considered a co-conspirator. Yes, but he continued in New York before he voided his disagreement. That's right. This is a mess. Now, hold up. I want to see. You said Nate the Lawyer did a video too? Oh, my God. Let me go check. Nate the Lawyer. This is. Shout out to Nate the Lawyer, y'all. You don't know he's like my favorite law tuber. When did he do the list? I don't see any video. This was 2 weeks ago on the pardoning. Oh, yes. We did see this one, actually. There's no new video on it, though. You talk about the video from 2 weeks ago? You said, but he didn't fit in for 2 seconds on the first. Acosta should go to jail for making this. Well, I want to look at this Acosta thing, okay? let's go back to it, okay? This is it right here. I've never seen this report. So they did a report on Acosta. Here it is. Justice Department poor judgment used in Epstein deal. Why? Later. This is from the Associated Press, okay? I'm not see these damn commercials. And I know that shout out to Tinkle Tits is gonna be like, you should have gotten a ad blocker a long time ago, Rabbit. What are you doing? Shout out to Tinkle Tits. Let's see. Acosta was put into Trump's first administration for a reason. This is like a rabbit hole of a crazy rabbit hole. All right, so Justice Department, this is a report from 2020, guys. All right, I don't even feel like I've ever really looked into this like that. Could Acosta have something to do with Epstein, and that's why he kind of did this little sweetheart deal with them? I think it's worth looking into. A Justice Department report has found that former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta exercised poor judgment in handling an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein when he was a top federal prosecutor in Florida. But it also says he did not engage in professional misconduct. The 350-page report obtained by the Associated Press marks the culmination of investigation by the Justice Department, a professional responsibility into the Acosta handling of a secret plea deal with Epstein, who had been accused of SAing dozens of underage girls. Through the report, though the report faulted Acosta for his judgment, it concluded that his actions in arranging the plea deal did not constitute misconduct, and that none of the prosecutors involved committed misconduct in their interactions with the victims. The conclusions are likely to disappoint the victims, who have long hoped the internal investigation would hold the Justice Department officials accountable for actions they allowed Epstein to escape from justice. In the statement, Acosta expressed vindication at the report's conclusion, but he had not committed misconduct, saying fully debunked allegations that he had cut a sweetheart deal for Epstein. He said that the report confirmed that his decision to open an investigation into Epstein had resulted in a jail sentence and an S offender registry for Jeffrey Epstein. The OPR's report, public records documents that without federal involvement, Epstein would have walked free. Under the 2008 non-prosecution agreement, also known as an MPA, Epstein pled guilty to state charges in Florida of soliciting and procuring a little person for prostitution. Okay? That allowed him to advert to a possible life sentence instead of serving 13 months in a work release program. Okay. He was required to make payments to victims and register as an SO. Epstein was later charged by federal prosecutors in Manhattan for nearly identical allegations in 2019, but he took his own life, allegedly. That's what they said. I don't believe that. While in federal custody as he awaited trial. Acosta said the Epstein affair was vastly more lurid and sweeping than when he was first involved. In allusion to some of the high-profile names referenced in the media reports as friends or associates of Epstein, and the fact that more evidence has now been assembled as additional victims have come forward. This is an article from 2022, guys. In a separate statement, Maria Villafana, who has led prosecution in the Florida investigation, said that she's pleased that the OPR had completed the report, but was disappointed that it had not released the full report so the victims and the public can have a fuller account of the depth of the interference that led to the patently unjust outcome in the Epstein case. So they never released this investigation report on Acosta? Why didn't they release that? Why didn't they release the report, at least if it wasn't public, at least for the victims, so that they can have a good understanding as to what they looked at? And this is some BS, judicial BS bullshit. Like, I cannot. You guys, I have an undergraduate in criminal justice, criminology to be precise, and This is just some BS. I don't know what to say, man. He said he followed orders sent to him on the high AG. I swear to God, everybody's just following orders. Things also went missing. Mercy Miami said things also went missing. You cannot make this shit up. Like, oh my God. This is deep. Let me keep going. Okay, so that's injustice. I believe was the result, that injustice, I believe was the result of implicit institutional bias that prevented me and the FBI's who worked diligently on this case from holding Mr. Epstein accountable for his crimes. So Maria Villafana, if I remember correctly, and there were some FBI agents who were being like threatened, they were being followed, they were also being followed by Epstein's private investigators that he had hired. They were going through trash. A lot of the victims were very worried. We talked about this in a separate video, right? A lot of this is public information about the stuff that they were doing. How does that happen? Like, that's just crazy to me. Yeah, the road to hell by following orders, period. Yeah, so Epstein hired private investigators to basically look into the FBI agents that were involved in this case, investigating him. Absolutely. All of this, right, Shannon? All of this just confirms how dangerous any government organization in Florida is. They make money off of exploiting, institutionalizing, and imprisoning people in this state. Lord have mercy. I've never been to Florida. It's on my bucket list. Let me make sure I don't catch a case in Florida because that'd be bad. That injustice, I believe, was a result of deep implicit institutional bias. We read this. Brad Edwards, an attorney for several of Epstein's victims, called the report a disappointing sidestep of the issue. He said that the Justice Department appears to have backed into desired results that are difficult to reconcile with the facts. We are all left still wondering why Jeffrey Epstein got a sweetheart deal. He did, and who exactly made the decision to transform a lengthy ST indictment into a non-prosecution agreement? That doesn't make sense. Like, none of that makes sense. The report was also condemned by the Republican then Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska. I think that's how you say his last name, who has questioned the Justice Department officials about the plea deal repeatedly. Letting a well-connected billionaire get away with child R and international ST isn't poor judgment. It is a disgusting failure. Okay, Americans ought to be enraged. Can't say the word enraged. Jeffrey Epstein should be riding behind bars today, but the Justice Department failed Jeffrey Epstein victims at every turn. The OPR investigation centered on two aspects of Epstein's case: whether the prosecution committed misconduct by resolving the allegations through a non-prosecution agreement, and also whether they failed to keep victims adequately in the loop on developments of this case. Guys, I feel like this agreement is going to bite them in the ass when it comes to Ghislaine. Like, could this bite them in the ass later on? You know what I mean? Okay. And also whether they failed to keep victims adequately in the loop on developments of case. The reports conclude, and the prosecution did not commit misconduct in their interactions with the victims because there's no clear and ambiguous duty to consult with them before entering into a non-prosecution agreement. So they weren't even told? The victims aren't even told what agreement the alleged perpetrator is going to fall into? That's crazy. But it says the lack of consolation reflects poorly on the Justice Department, and it's contradictory to the Justice Department mission to minimize the frustration and confusion that victims of crimes endured. They don't work for us. They're not for us. Guys, this is just crazy. That's just crazy. No. What do you guys think? The victims weren't even told that there was that's what it sounds like. They weren't told about the sweetheart deal. That's what upset them. And then they're not even given the report, a copy of the report. Can I pull? Is that even? I don't think it's public information. It doesn't sound like it. I wonder. I'll have to look into that. But anyways, guys, I really do appreciate you guys being here today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're going to continue talking about this, of course, the Epstein situation. But let me know what you guys think overall in the chat. Okay, so that was the breaking news today. Ghislaine, while we were live, filed stuff for the Supreme Court for them to review and figure it out. I do wonder, are they going to find a loophole for this woman? Whether either she's going to get pardoned or are they going to find a loophole for her? That's the question. Is she going to get pardoned or are they going to find a loophole for her through this little sweetheart deal for her to get out? You have to kind of wonder. You have to kind of wonder about it. What do you guys think? Anyways, I will see you guys later on. I'll be live later tonight. I also have another videos that there's like 2 videos that I've been working on, but keep an eye out. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Bye.